Hello, it's Heidi, your pottery pal, and today we are going to screen print with the underglaze that we prepared last week. I want to remind you that I do have a free PDF on my website it's a free PDF of tips and tricks for image transfer, and that is under the workshops. I do have 4 workshops: mono printing, what is the other one? Speed screen printing, printing with drawing ink and screen filler, and then also with photo emulsion. And that goes into depth and it shows you how to burn the screen. Because I can't show all that in the light. And so those have videos where it's in the dark. So anyway, I just wanted to touch on that and let's get started. Okay, so if you remember last week, we prepared this speedball underglaze, and the core, that just means it's one of the colors I use a lot. I put all the little test tiles on the top. That helps me keep things so I know what colors I'm using. And the first thing we want to do is we want to test the underglaze to make sure that the transparent base that we added was enough, because if it's not enough, we're going to have to add some more. So Small Dog Prints sent me some test screens, and we're going to just use that to test because it's small and we don't need a huge area. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take a piece of newsprint. This is newsprint that I purchased from U-Haul. I'm going to take a little of the underglaze. I'm going to use my mud rib yellow, my mud tools yellow rib. I like this. It's a little flexible. It's a nice squeegee. And we're just going to take a little of that underglaze, put a little bead. I'm going to zoom in. We're just going to squeegee. Oh, squeegee. And it looks like it works. So let's check it a little closer. So when I say that it looks like it works, what do I mean? What I mean is, I'm going to turn it, is that the underglaze passed through the screen without clogging it. So that looks really good. And then we can also look at the screen and it's not clogged. There isn't any of what you would see is like that light blue color stuck in the screen. So that looks good. I'm just going to wash this out and we will start on the actual printing. Okay, before we start printing, I want to go over something about screens. Someone had asked, Diana had asked this in the questions. So there's different types of screens. This is a screen that, like I said, Small Dog Prints sent to me. This is like the speed screen from Speedball. This is like Easy Screen. These are just sheets that come with photo emulsion already applied, and you can burn a pattern into them with a UV light or with the sunlight. You can also, I know Small Dog Prints, they sell some that are already pre-burned for you. I don't know if other companies do that, but I know Small Dog Prints does. There is also, it's like if you see me print and I have a green screen, that means I use the photo emulsion with a transparency to burn it. If you see a screen with this red, I used drawing fluid and then screen filler. So there's just different ways to make a screen. You can also use a vinyl cutter to make a screen. I am not familiar with that technique. My friend Katie Miller does that technique, and you can find workshops on her website. So today we are going to print these circles because I wanted to show you the screen filler screen and how well these print. So these are really nice when you make these because you don't need any equipment. You don't need a UV light. You don't need to worry how far the light is from the table. You just draw the with the drying fluid, and then you fill it with the screen filler. It's a really easy process. It's a really satisfying process. So we're going to take the newsprint. Again, it's the same newsprint from U-Haul. We're going to put our screen down on top of it. And then we're going to talk about squeegees. So I have several squeegees. There's more over on the shelf. The 10 inches, the size 10 is just how long this is. The 70 to 75 durometer, that's how flexible this is. Now, the one thing I don't like as much is how sharp this edge is. And you can actually buy them with a rounded edge. I didn't realize that when I bought this one. This is just a standard speedball squeegee that you buy. These are like the least expensive ones. It's got that rounded edge. I'm not sure what the durometer is. I think it's a little more flexible. This is more like the kind of the yellow rib that I was using. So that you know what, if you're just starting, just grab one of these, totally fine. I'll show you how to print with that. So let's start. We're going to take our underglaze we prepared, just like we did on that test. We're going to put a bead. And again, I like to put a lot on so I can make sure I have enough to cover the pattern. And if you have excess, you can always scoop it up and put it back in the bottle. I also recommend, as soon as you print your screen, wash it out. You don't have to, but it's a lot easier. So I'm going to print this. I'm going to go 1, 2, pull it up, and then I'm going to actually show you how to wash it. So we're just going to take our squeegee. Now this squeegee doesn't fit. Again, totally fine. Just go 1, 1, and then we're going to go back, 2, 2. Just set your squeegee aside. We're going to lift up, and it printed. And again, you can see, I'm going to zoom in for you, maybe. You can see it didn't clog the screen. That's a nice print. You can see here the screen isn't clogged. You could tell it would be splotchy if it was clogged. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to set this newsprint aside. I'm going to prop the screen up so it's not touching the table. And like I said, if you have extra underglaze, you can just scoop it back up and put it in your container. I do that all the time. And then when you wash these, you know, if you have like a hose, you can do that. You can also just do this. Just take your screen, probably a bigger bucket of water. This is a really small bucket. And just wash it with a sponge. There's some more underglaze. I'm just going to scoop that up. This works just fine. People ask me sometimes why I have this tape around the edge. And that's just because I'll show you. This screen filler actually goes pretty close to the edge. But sometimes there's little pieces where it's not all the way to the edge. And if you put that tape down, it just makes it cleaner when you're printing. So you don't have your underglaze coming out of the sides all the way around on your print. And so when I wash the screen, I make sure I can do the front and the back, right? Because you're pushing that underglaze through to the back. So you want to make sure you clean that. And then I'll just go back to the front and go over that lightly. And that looks good. And then when you have your screen dry, I just let it dry horizontally on a shelf or a table. You want to do that so it doesn't warp, so the frame doesn't warp. So that's how you screen print underglaze. Remember, pottery's better with a pal. So if you like today's video, subscribe, like, and share with a friend. See you next week. Bye.